Hello, good afternoon, good evening to whoever is listening to it's not an Ikigai podcast, it's the KaiZen podcast. I got used to the Ikigai, but hopefully I am starting a new series of podcasts, which is the KaiZen podcast. Hello, Safwan.
Hi,
How are you?
good. Pleasure being with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Safwan. So thanks for accepting the invitation. And where are you now, Safwan? Can you tell us a little bit? I can see a lot of
Right
cities.
now, right, I'm at Blue Ocean Business and Language School here in Damascus, and I'm in my place where I work. And I'm just very much excited to be your guest today.
Thanks, Safwan. Thank you very much. And I'm really so glad to have you as my guest. And I am really impressed with your academic background as well as your professional one. And today I'm interested in knowing more about Safwan at the personal level as well. So the concept of Kaizen, if we can explain it in a nutshell to whoever doesn't know what it means, it's etymologically speaking, I kind of relied on the origin of the word, which is a Japanese word, which means Kaizen. It's a combination of two words together. Kai in Japanese means change. Zen, just like Zen in yoga, means positive. So together it makes Kaizen positive change or positive improvement, let's say, because not all changes are positive. And today we are interested in knowing more about all positive changes that had an impact on your life, Safwan, and mine as well, because like it's going to be an interactive, friendly chat. So who is Safwan?
Hey, well, first of all, thank you very much for hosting me on your podcast. It's a real pleasure and honor, and I hope it's going to be an exciting discussion and chit chat. Safwan is a 47-year-old guy from Syria, specialist in the field of teacher training, has been in the field for about 20 years, and right now working with Blue Ocean at the CEO of the center. Blue Ocean is a language and business school, and just with the mission of helping more and more people, and hopefully, people, kids, teenagers in Syria build their future. This is what we are doing, and this is why we wake up 4 in the morning. So, in a nutshell, I'm a TESOL specialist, and also I've been to many international conferences around the world, both as an attendant or as a presenter. And I'm still trying to get the field of TESOL more and more into Syrians here.
Thank you very much. And I introduce myself to whoever doesn't know me because like they can maybe come across the podcast, they can come across a name, but very quickly I am just like you. I'm a TESOL professional who's been active since 2009, and I like everything related to teaching English. Let's say I see it as a facilitation for knowledge. I'm a mediator for knowledge because especially nowadays, everything is available online. So I can see my
Mhm.
role as helping others achieve the best version of themselves, be it in English, be it in communication, because I blend kind of coaching with my teaching practice. And the expression that says your vibe attracts your tribe. Do you know it?
Mhm.
So I think I
Sure,
think
yeah.
I think it's the same vibe, same energy that kind of draws me towards your business, your profile,
Mhm.
whatever I noticed, whether let's say posts you share on social media, how you present your business, because Kaizen initially like kind of started apart from the philosophical concept. It started first and foremost as a business concept. So how can someone improve one's business through regular effort and regular progress? So I can allow myself to start with your business first and then Rasen, the human being. I'm sorry, not Rasen. I'm sorry, Safwan.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness. Teachers, they're bad at names. Okay, so Safwan, really so sorry. So
Sure.
KaiZen in business, Safwan. When did you have the idea of starting your own business and why?
Right. Well, maybe before I answer your question, I'd just like to highlight a very, very important fact, which is it is always a fine line between, say, in a business and teaching, because people, see teaching as a very human career, which makes it very much controversial to talk about business in the same domain.
Mhm.
So you need to have real balance between both, you see. So as an answer to your question, the idea has always been in my mind. And as a professional, you want always to do something that can put your mission, your vision into practice. I mean, in every place that I've worked for or I've worked with, I always considered it to be my own business, in that concept. But when we talk about the idea of blue ocean, that has always been my dream, especially if we know that the whole concept of blue ocean is to do something different, something unique in the field of TESOL. And I hope we are very much on this track.
Actually, you are, and kudos to whatever you're doing. Because as a Tunisian person and active in the TESOL field, I noticed the Blue Ocean webpage and Instagram profile as well, the Instagram account. And so even before noticing who is the, let's say, the manager or the owner or the co-owner, or if you have any co-owners, is let's label this as a manager. So be you, or if you have anyone like co-piloting this with you. So, and I'm sure you have, because I consider that a successful manager has all the people who work with as co-pilots, as teachers and teacher trainers. So it's like we're no longer talk about the old-fashioned way of management. We talk about leadership. And leadership in education is really important because, as you said, it's not about money. It's not about first. It's about reputation. It's about having a good reputation, whatever we do, conveying what we promise. If we promise our students to deliver a particular kind of outcome, so and we meet the expectations, that is success. That's among the success criteria. And but the edupreneurship, let's say, or the teacherpreneurship nowadays is a kind of a trend. I've tried it myself for like post-COVID a little bit, and then I went back to teaching on site because I noticed that it demands a lot of effort, a lot of I couldn't do it by myself, so I might have needed maybe a team with me. And so thinking about teachers nowadays being much more, let's say, freer in a way, freer in a sense, they can have their own business. We can call it a business after all. So it's like you have your teaching philosophy, you have your team, and together you can function together so that to achieve your expected results. And nowadays, it's like because of the crisis, the economic crisis in the world, we cannot rely only on institutions to hire. So what we do is like sometimes if we don't find an opportunity, we create one. So that's what I said to myself in the now, Safwan. I'm not gonna say Ghassan again. So Safwan, because your name rhymes with Ghassan. I'm sorry.
Which
This
one is more popular in Tunisia? Is it Safwan or Ghassan?
it's Ghassan, that's why. And my first guest for the
Ghassan.
Ikigai was
Okay.
Ghassan. So that's why I draw a link. I don't know.
Okay.
He was a friend, is still a friend, and thanks to all of you for really contributing to the podcast. Who is not my podcast actually? It belongs to the TESOL profession, to you, to colleagues, to students, whoever is interested in the field. So let's start from the beginning, Safwan. Safwan, let's say the professional, Safwan, the teacher. Why did you choose this as a profession initially? Or was it a choice first? or like you discovered this by chance? So how did you come across your profession, Safwan?
Right. Um, there is always the fate factor, in there. I remember I started my first class back in 2002. And, just like a person who was trying to figure things out about life and the thing that they wanted to do. And it was my first class once again. And then what happened was I could see a result. I'm not going to talk about like my successes or how I've done or what I've done. I would talk about the success of the students. So, when you see somebody coming to you, with that spark of thank you in their eyes and telling, so I felt it was really rewarding. And to be honest with you, it was my very first day that could tell me that this is what I always wanted to do for the rest of my life. I have here to mention something that I came from professional football background. So that truly affected my career as a teacher because, in football, it's all about, it's a very rewarding career, on the personal level, or even when you make people happy. So luckily, I could relate that to my teaching career. So there was no real difference between both. I mean, both require energy, passion, full of challenges, and there is always a second party in both of them. So when I saw that result in the eyes of the students and students' parents as well, so I could straight away tell that this is what I always wanted to do. I also might need to mention that I worked for the United Nations for a while, and then I just felt that that was not, the thing that I should be doing. I was born to be an English teacher, and there are always those, temptations through on the way. So I remember I was offered to be a regional sales manager, even global sales manager for one of the, publishing places, or one of the publishers, like I'm not going to mention the name. And it was very much, tempting for me to go regarding position, regarding finance as well. And, there was something in me, there was something that whispered into in my ears telling me that you've always wanted to be a teacher and God has created you to be a teacher. So in brief, I felt I was born to be an English teacher. This is how it all started. And then I consider myself to be so lucky to determine on what I wanted to do as early as it could be in my professional career.
Very, very impressive, Safwan. And I can really tell that together with colleagues that I have previously interviewed, sometimes teaching as a profession did not come right away as a first choice. It's like an inner voice, an inner calling, and other colleagues, they have discovered this in the process. They might have found themselves in the context, and it depends. So what I do believe is that it's good to have a life worth living. It's good to have a life that you're taking your own decisions in your life. It's like you manage your own destiny. It's like in God's hands. So I know we all agree about this, but the free will is there. It's like you choose, you kind of experiment, and until you can find your free calling, let's say your ikigai, we can link back to the ikigai to talk about Kaizen, because initially the kind of equilibrium, the kind of balance you can find in yourself once you've kind of harmonized all your personal needs, just like in Maslow, you can move on to the next stage until you excel, and then you move on to the upper stage. And Blue Ocean, before talking about team and your team and your football background, just going to talk about this a little bit, but just in a while. Why Blue Ocean? Why this name? Like, is there a particular reason why did you choose to call it this way, Safwan?
That's a very interesting question. I was very much more like obsessed with the whole idea of blue ocean. And maybe since 2010, 11, I've been talking about the whole concept of blue ocean and being, because blue ocean is to be unique, basically. And another factor about blue ocean is to, to work freely, to work without any kind of pressure with competitors or things. So you're doing something in a very unique way, and then you enjoy your freedom on what you're doing. So the whole idea of blue ocean is based on me first being obsessed with this concept. I hope on the personal level I try to apply this as well. And after that, or another thing is, I mean, the country here did need a place where English language teaching, is delivered the very right way, where people feel that it's very much like a school. And I'm also here talking about the equals standards, since I've been to Cambridge in the UK, and I've had the honor to be taught by Richards, one of the founders of Equal. So I came back to Syria also, intrigued by the whole concept of equals, which is more like ISO in business, or equals for education. And I could understand the standards and the factors that can make a successful or effective language school. So yeah, I just wanted to do something unique, something different, something niche, because the word niche is very much connected with the word the blue ocean. And yeah, I was so lucky just to to be able to start doing so, along with Mr. Salem, who is the chairman of Blue Ocean as well. So we both actually was a great support, on this. And it's beautiful when you share the same ideas, when you share the same concepts, the same thing. So I send big thank you to him as well for just always being there and being supportive.
Thanks for the clarification.
So the whole idea of Blue Ocean is just because, it's because we wanted to do something different.
It is actually different. And, whoever visits your social media accounts and profiles can notice the difference. And I absolutely agree with you on the fact of creating a kind of a blueprint and a niche for your business, because I don't want to call them clients, but let's say learners, whoever wants to kind of invest in your business, whoever wants kind of maybe get benefit from it, knows exactly what is the outcome. And they can choose if they have a variety. If not, like your presence can create that kind of variety in the market, let's say. Because the Cambridge accreditation, it's worldwide. So we're having nowadays more and more centers getting the accreditation, applying the CEFR, the Common European Framework of Languages. So a lot of people, they're adopting this mindset. But how, myself included, as a teacher, I can create a difference? It's like, otherwise it's just going to be, kind of, I don't want to use a word. It's like identical, let's say, service. We can call it as a service, educational services. But it's a nice name. And do you know, like in terms of energy, and because I'm a little bit in my coaching practice, I'm interested in the energy work, and the colors themselves. The color blue is like a soothing color. Even they use it in kind of when they design, let's say offices or hospitals, they include the kind of baby blue sometimes color, because it gives kind of a Pacific and calm, energy that makes people kind of well at ease. So there's kind of the feng shui issue, like dealing with all of this when it comes to creating one's business as well. It's like the way you place your office, the way you place your certificates there is a kind of a strategy for everything. For example, you can just place your office, and you can have the door, let's say at an outer space, so you can, for example, place the window next to you so they can have a vision and you can have some light. Plus, the door, you should be facing the door. So you, as a manager or as anyone in the office, you can see whoever's entering your office. So there is a kind of tactic, you know, if we can say. And some people call it feng shui. It's like the energy of the place. طاقة المكان in Arabic. So, but it's
Yeah.
really interesting. And I can see that you have feng shuied your office in a nice way. So I had a look a little bit of your office. You know, it's an open space and you have your team next to you. It's like it facilitates communication in a way. As I
True.
and what else? So did you have any kind of strategy in designing your office, Safwan, or was it?
Yeah, the thing about the blue ocean strategy or the blue ocean philosophy is also to have a blue ocean team, to have blue ocean staff, to have blue ocean place, to have blue ocean, even blue ocean students in general. So the reason why even your students need to be also different in a way or another. So other things are related to the decoration. So we very much relate the concept of blue ocean to simplicity, to the color, as you mentioned. Yeah, I'm also a big fan and believer of blue, let's say. And other things are related to just your office as a CEO being very much simple. You know, so people, this is something that I learned from the UK, honestly speaking. So I would go and meet some people like James Scrivener or George Pickering, for example, or Sylvana Richardson's, and they're all just behind a very simple desk. So I just wanted to do exactly the same thing, just like people, you know, get into, like, they expect to get into, you know, that CEO's office. So there are always messages like, here it is a simple place, all I need to do is to have comfortable place where we can run a normal good beneficial conversation. So one other or another thing is very much related to simplicity as well, in addition to having books, you know. So here I got the certificate and right there I got books. So yeah, these are all messages that I wanted to convey to people. In addition, I wanted my office to be visible to others. So I'm very much happy that you could notice this.
Of course, and I always do this, and sometimes my colleagues they ask me for recommendations when they try to set up their offices, and I'm always glad to help because like I read a lot and I believe in certifications. I've taken a lot of them online, but I believe like it's beyond the certification. It's like trying things and testing. I've tried it myself and I've tested this, you know, in terms of colors, in terms of, as you said, and energy. But let me link what you said to your, I don't want to say employees, but let's say your collaborators. So I prefer to call them collaborators because you're all together on the same ship and you're working towards the same destination. So and by referring back to Kaizen, among the criteria and the principles of Kaizen is to let your collaborators, let's say employees, speak up, to give them a voice, to empower them. So to what extent Safwan provides this to his collaborators?
Yeah, I consider my, you know, my team to be really my partners, let's say, which is also part of the strategy. So if I am, for example, to grow, they have to grow. Actually, continuing professional development is one of our values. So I make it very clear when it comes to collaborating with others, to being all on the same page, that we all share the same values. So if I am to talk about collaboration, first of all, I would talk about growth, that I really care about my growth, of course, the organization's growth, and the team's growth as well, let alone students' growth. And I talk about communication. This would be great also factoring collaboration. I would talk about diversity. I talk about quality. I talk about innovation, in addition to many other factors related to humanity in general. So after all, we're dealing with humans before we're dealing with,
Of course.
with teachers. And I would never, for example, mention the word employee. Let's say I'm an anti, user of this word employee. So we call our team here partners. The reason why
Yes.
we even prove it by, letting them share even percentage, when it comes to payment to all of those
Exactly.
things. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Yousra. This collaboration is a key. But if I am to talk about collaboration, I would talk about growth, which is
Exactly.
part of the strategy. I'm so happy that you're mentioning the word strategy, even if you see here the whole book of Blue Ocean, it is by the Blue Ocean
No
strategy.
way. I
So
said this without even knowing.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to thank you for this and
All right.
praise you on this use of the word.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Actually, I believe in strategies in life. It's like not planning 1 + 1 = 2. Not in that sense, but having a clear objective can really kind of save us time, save us effort. And it's good to have a strategy in one's life and one's, if you want to call it a business or as you like. But I really didn't know that your collaborators were partners actually as well. But it's good to kind of encourage the people who work with you to have a kind of percentage, because sometimes, there is the added value, the added value they can add. Plus, if they feel more than valued, if they feel even included, and this is also
Mm.
valid in my country, Tunisia. It's like in terms of percentage, if they hire more students, if they hire more partners, it's like a win-win situation, and they can excel and
Yeah, yeah,
they can
yeah,
company.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And beautiful that you're mentioning. I feel that you already one of the Blue Ocean team, because one of the things that we always mention is related to people working with the organization, not for. So
of
you
course.
naturally subconsciously use this word.
I
Beautiful.
know. I do believe in this actually, because that's what I consider, like, whatever I've worked and with whomever I worked, I really always consider myself as a contributor. It's not like I have just responsibilities and tasks and that's it. And that is, I guess, what makes what I do exceptional, because um, once I'll be leaving any institution for any particular reason, I always receive positive feedback even afterwards. It's like, you left a good impression. The students, they're just asking about you. Your colleagues, they just want to see where are you now. So they reach out. I can still receive a happy birthday, greetings and wishes from everybody, and that's the human aspect. It's because, like, life is not only about material things and whatever we can acquire. It facilitates life. Money is there to make us maybe have access to a better version of ourselves, a better comfortable life sometimes, but it's not everything. So that's what I always tell even my business students. It's like, sometimes they tell me, when I used to teach business studies, Miss, so how come, like, you just teach business studies, and do you think this is applicable in our context? In, for example, in my country, certain kind of aspects like the Bitcoin is not allowed, all things, but they're allowed to discover that themselves. They're allowed to know what is known and what is known unknown and what is unknown known. So and they come up everything to ask me, what is this, miss, do you think this is legal in our country? So it's my role to clarify that for now it's not, but in other countries, just in case you become other kind of foreign students, you can pursue further studies in this elsewhere. But I do believe that everything is evolving in education itself. So maybe, let's say, in Tunisia, we'll be seeing those business studies here implemented in my country, and students really being entrepreneurs, studentpreneurs, let's say. I had a presentation with TESOL Arabia, and it was about
Mm.
entrepreneurship. It was last February, I guess, the last conference.
That's March.
Yeah, that's March. Thank you. And
I was there.
I was online. I didn't get the chance to present.
Uh,
And yeah, I did my best to be
okay.
present. in person, but you know, the deadline and my visa. So I just presented online, and the title of my presentation was Edupreneurship in Education, you know, in sustainable education. And part of the arguments that I had is like believing in training students, not teachers, students themselves to be entrepreneurs while they study. It's like they can work on their startup and their business, and they kind of in the incubators, you know, in whatever kind of status the university can provide, in clubs or anything else, so that once they graduate, they already have their own business, and they can hire their friends if they don't start their own business. You know, it's like in Tunisia we have a lot of startups, and we have also what we call the Startup Act. And the Startup Act, it gives any small company up to 8 years tax-free, so that they can really build up the business and upgrade it up to 8 years. So now we're having a lot of startups in Tunisia, and most of them, they're run by either postgrads or freshly graduated students. So edupreneurship nowadays is, yes, it is. It is. I'll send you some links if you're interested to know more about the Startup Act in Tunisia. And I had the pleasure of coaching some of my students in their clubs, student clubs, where they have to use sustainability in education as well. So, and I hope to make it in person TESOL Arabia conference soon, inshallah.
My honor.
Yeah. So the next question, you know, I was not planning all these questions, you know, Safwan. Next question is that, all right, so can you see now this one, maybe you can really kind of, it's not an very improvised question, Safwan. So kind of, when it comes to SMART goals, Safwan as a person, Safwan as a professional, Safwan as a manager, Safwan as an entity, let's say, as an identity. Do you have any SMART goal that you're working on, like in the near future, on the long run? Do you consider like taking your business from, let's say, Syria to the MENA region, maybe having kind of, you keep the headquarters there and you kind of have affiliates elsewhere? Can this be included? Yes.
Yeah, definitely. And I love when it comes to goals, I love even to go further and talk about a wider concept, which is vision, you know, because I had the vision, my personal vision has always been there, and I have a vision for the organization. And one of the things that I always love to do is to, you know, talk to people about the importance of finding their own vision or setting their own vision, and then come the goals, you know. So yeah, I do have goals which are very much, you know, related to the vision. On the personal level, for sure, I have specific, measurable, of course, attainable, and you know, timely goals. And on the organizational and business level, this is what you need to do actually. So, for example, the vision of Blue Ocean is to be one of the top leaders in education locally, regionally, and globally. And then the thing is how you can measure the progress that you're making in achieving this vision through dividing it into many goals or sub-goals. On the personal level, you know, I work with the vision of being also, you know, in the field of teacher training, you know, locally and globally. And luckily, I can see very clear, you know, progress in this, because, you know, when it comes to measurement, it's a bit challenging, but it's all happening through the results that you see through others. And luckily, I was in a field where I can see results, where I can have a specific goal or a measurable goal or attainable goal or relevant. Because even here is another thing about relevance. I very much relate that to my football background.
Once yes, again, I forgot to ask you that question, by the way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, me as a football player. So I very much relate that to me being a teacher or me being even a manager. After all, we are teachers, we are performers, so we all need that teacher who gets into the classroom full of energy, acting, improvising and making a real comforting class environment. So yeah, definitely. Back to your question, I developed some personal goals, organizational goals, and I also work with my team and even many other people to develop their own personal goals. And I make it clear about the importance of making it specific because most of the times, Yousra, so people would come and say, or my goal is to be successful, which is why it's great that you're highlighting the importance of having of making it specific, for example. And I see the majority of people fall into the trap of being unable to measure the progress, at their goal or dividing that goal into maybe periodic, progress steps and so forth and so on.
Yes, and I will elaborate on what you said when it comes to team players and football players. And if we can link management, let's say, to a team, a football team, and the goalkeeper. So do you consider yourself like a team player now or a goalkeeper? That's the first question. Second question, do you kind of borrow from some of the tactics from football in team building and all that stuff into your business now? And you're free to answer either one of them or both of them as you like, Safwan.
Great. Beautiful. So when it comes to football, whether it's a goalkeeper or for example, back or center defender or midfielder or attacker or striker, if you talk about 11 players in the for example, the squad, and then one of those players, I know that very much through football. If one of the players is not doing well, then the whole team will not be doing well at all. So after all, I also was a coach after this, and I know that team, for example, our opponent, they have some kind of weakness in that, for example, place or in that position. Then we would go and attack them through that position. So if one of the team members is not on the very same page and not in the very same quality of performance, the whole team, the whole organization consequently would be affected, which actually leads us to talk about the importance of having consistent team regarding maybe performance and background and education and language and all of those things. So I would consider every position to be the most important one. Yeah, but my job and also the team's job is to help me make consistent team. This is why, unfortunately, sometimes you can see that one of the team members is not up to the performance of other team players. Well, it's not my problem only as a manager. Team members, especially star players, and they would come and say, "Sorry, I mean, with all respect, but we feel that this." For example, this player is affecting the whole performance of the team, which means you have to do an immediate corrective action. And that's a very good thing. As for formation or applying as for the formation, I'm not really sure how I can apply for 3-3 or 4-2-2 or wherever. But I also came from coaching background, so I would relate that by saying I would assign that professional to that level. And then what I do is I make people leaders on a certain area. Like this one is a leader on, for example, teaching beginners. This one is a leader in teaching young learners. This one is a leader on teacher training. This one is a leader in teaching international exams and so forth. I think this is how I would apply the formation, of my, or the knowledge of my football background. And I also here, if you want to see, I have this one here,
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, this is here. So people, when they come here and they do, for example, they make the interview and they always ask about, they always feel curious to know. And so it always, or it also generates, it's a kind of discussion in the office. You need to find things in common with the people.
Yes, of
Did
course.
you come from any sports background, Yousra?
I do actually, and I used to be fitter
Yeah.
than now. So I will start maybe from the beginning, from high school. I used to play a lot of basketball, so I was a good team player at that time, and that's why, like compared
Mm.
to ladies in my age, I'm a little bit tall. So they always ask me, kind of, aren't you that tall compared to women? No, it's not really. It's I kind of think it's normal, but I liked really basketball, and then I discovered a little bit handball, and then handball, just like they say it. After this, a little bit of gymnastics, and most of it yoga. So my yoga experience started in 2016 after I have traveled to Thailand. So once in Thailand, I came across a Buddha temple there, and there were monks kind of meditating. So I started asking them questions, and kind of step by step, I started to see people practicing yoga. So I just talked to them, and I felt that kind of something that I wanted to try. So once back in Tunisia, I started to look for any place where I can practice yoga, any kind of setting, let's say. So I kind of did the research, and I knew that the Embassy of India in Tunisia was providing free yoga classes in a place called Belvedere here in Tunis. So I subscribed to the lessons for 2 years. We're practicing on a daily basis, starting from 6 a.m. yoga, be it in
Oh,
summer, winter, yes. And then I go back home, I kind of showered, and then wear my clothes to go to work. So I still
oh, what
remember
a
those years. Yes, that's
how energetic.
it is. It is. And I like my version of myself at that particular time. And now there's kind of a similar kind of version of myself, but kind of much more mature. It's like I've tried Tai Chi and the energy work, because yoga considered that it's a kind of inner journey. The Tai Chi is like more of your energy and the world. It's like, how can you deal with the outer energy? And how you deal with negative energy when it's thrown at you. For example, you can be
Oh,
Zen, you can be a nice person, you can be the best person on earth, but sometimes you can deal with people who are maybe dealing with
oh.
their own uncertainties, with their own insecurities, with their jealousy and
Mm.
envy. So I said, how shall I deal with that? Sometimes it's behavioral. Most of the times, Safwan, it's energetic. It's like if you vibrate at a higher level, let's say happiness, success, it's like in terms of scale, it's higher at that level. Someone who is smiling, who is less amenable to getting angry, and less amenable to being kind of influenced by the negative energy. So it's beyond the behavioral thing. So that's what I learned. So Tai Chi helped me kind of harmonize my energy and the world. It's like I don't have to always blame it on myself for just being kind sometimes. It's like, no, sometimes you should have your limits. It's like otherwise people can get use of your kindness. So it goes that way. So, but it's like
Oh, I
it's
love that.
I can show you a few things. I have them here with me at next to me. It's like it goes beyond the energy towards the crystals. And I have plenty of them, like I can show you some of them. So this one, the turquoise, if you
Ah,
need. And this is
okay.
another turquoise. This is for the
Okay.
throat. This is for the throat chakra, and I don't know if you
Mm.
believe in
Mm.
chakras. So,
Mm.
but these gemstones, they're very helpful in the sense. I worked on myself, kind of cleaning my negative energy and fill it up with very positive energy. And those crystals can help a lot. I've
Mm.
learned how to do this, and there are people who believe in this, others don't. So all I say is like,
Yeah.
I respect everyone's kind of belief system, but I always tell
Oh,
them, give it a try. That's it.
yeah, no, I believe I have this one. This is the Pampo.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
so I
nice.
thought to yeah, they think it's very good for energy as well. There's
It
energy
is. It is.
generator.
It
Yeah,
is.
so I do believe in.
Actually, you feng shui in your office very well, Safwan. It's like, you know, bamboo. I'll send you a video. They tried to kind of measure this kind of not frequency, but the kind of waves coming out of the bamboo tree, you know, and every creature on earth has that kind of that electromagnetic field. And with the bamboo,
Mm.
they recognized that it kind of diffused kind of soft vibration which soothes the environment. Be it it's preferable to have a like let's say one or three, 5 to 7 is like as an odd number, not as a kind of so that to keep the place very peaceful. So you're feng shui in your office the right way, Safwan. So Safwan, your office is a nice place. But I noticed that you have your partners, just like the way you call them, next to your office. So can we have a look maybe at your office? How is it? Can you take us for a tour maybe in your office?
Oh, great. So here, as I mentioned, okay, they offer the certificates as well and things. And you can see over there the team members. Here
Okay.
they're all
Hi.
working
Hello. I
and
don't know if they
they're
notice
so
me.
happy.
Hi. Hello.
You want me to go out and
Yes, yes,
meet
yes,
them?
sure, sure.
I guess this is Miss
Hello,
Yousra. She's
everybody.
doing podcast.
Hi. Hello
Okay.
from
I think I
Tunisia.
should
Hello.
unlock. This is Mr. Mo. You want to say hi? And this is Michelle here.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine,
And
thank you.
here the professionals working, preparing.
Hi. Hello.
This is
Hi,
Ms.
hello.
specializing in teaching beginners, as we mentioned. And Mr. Rafat German and Mr. Adnan, also IT
Yes.
manager, and over there, Rama.
Nice to see you, everyone.
Let me say
Hello.
hi.
Hi, hello. My name is Yousra, and I have the
Over
KaiZen
there, here we
podcast.
go.
Hello.
So the front desk, the professionals, and some of the people waiting.
Thanks.
So I hope that was a good tour.
It is actually. Thank you very much for taking me into your world. And
Can I
I
say
really,
something? You want to talk to Michelle, for example?
as you like. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Michelle. How are you? My name is Yousra, and I'm from Tunisia, and I'm a TESOL professional. And I'm conducting these series of podcasts with professionals around the world. And today it's Mr. Safwan's turn and your turn to talk about Blue Ocean. So, how is your experience there? How is it going?
It's been amazing. I've been here about a year at Blue Ocean, and it is fantastic. Fantastic. I've learned a lot by working here, by working with Mr. Safwan. He has taught me a lot, a lot.
For example,
TESOL.
tell us something you learned from Mr. Safwan at the human level, a professional level.
Both, because all of my training before was in just one bit of teaching, the 3Ps. So he has really taught me different ways of teaching students, thinking outside of the box, thinking very differently than just following the 3Ps. So he really has helped me expand my ways of teaching.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you soon
Where
be
did
it
you
in
say
my
you were
country.
from?
I'm from Tunisia, from Tunis. Tunisia. So
Oh, very
it's in
nice.
North Africa. Yes. So you're very welcome.
Yes, yes. I'm
Yes.
actually here in Syria, but from America.
Oh, nice to see you. And you're very welcome to visit my country anytime. And if ever I'll be visiting Syria, I'll just pop in to say hi to everyone. Thank you.
Yes, it would be a pleasure. It would be an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you. You.
Thanks.
You want to tell her something about the teacher training or thing?
The teacher training, like I said, I have learned a lot. the other institute where I worked, everything was the 3Ps. It's very different than the whole TESOL. So I am really getting a lot of knowledge, a lot of different ways of teaching, which helps you reach students more, make a bigger impact, have more of an influence. And learning under Mr. Safwan is quite amazing. He's an incredible instructor. He has quite a presence in the classroom and really has a lot of valuable information to share with his teachers. He's an amazing boss, amazing trainer. He really is something, Mr. Safwan. And it has been a privilege for me to work with him. I don't want to say under him, as he always says, partners.
Yes,
alongside him.
I noticed this, Miss Michelle. I noticed that the kind of rapport you have it with let's say your partner, because I can see that Mr. Safwan is not a boss. He's not like treating you in a bossy way. It's like more of a partnership than
it is. He always says that. He always says that we're, partners. It makes also a really great environment to work in, because you feel like you're working with someone for the same goal, for the same vision. You're not working for someone, and so it's really a great place to come and work. You're supporting anything you need. It's a nice change, a nice change.
And I can allow myself to ask you another question, Miss Michelle. It's like in terms of feedback or feed forward, let's call it that way. So how is it going in your network? Like, for example, like, do you feel safe expressing your feedback, and how is it conveyed from Mr. Safwan? Mr. Safwan, I know I'm asking this question, without even it about
no.
Yes.
With Mr. Safwan, I think it's very open. You can, if you have a problem, if you do have feedback, he is very receptive. Of course, if we do have feedback, not everything he can, implement, but he does listen to everything seriously. He does think about it. He gives it in the full, and will explain to you yes or no why this would work or why it wouldn't work. But his door is always open to anything that we have to complain about, or maybe an idea we have. He's very receptive. Can't implement everything, but he will acknowledge and give it 100% attention.
Of course.
Like I said, it's a very different environment than other places.
I know. I can relate. I know. I can relate to your work environment because it looks very similar to mine. And I can even could draw an analogy between Mr. Safwan and my boss as well. And like we do have that kind of fluid communication where we're safe to express our suggestions as well as the feedback if we see that something needs to be reviewed. And I think it's important for anyone who has that kind of vision, collective vision together, because as I said at the beginning of the podcast, we're all on the same ship and same destiny. So it's good to have some guiding principles, but at the same time, a good communication to save us time and effort.
We're all on the same team. We need to support each other, collaborate on different things, and I think the atmosphere here in Blue Ocean is really that way. No one's against anyone. Everyone works together. Everything is a collaboration, and it's all because Mr. Safwan, this is what he gives here. This is the atmosphere that he gives off. He gives this vibe. We're all on the same team, and we need to work together.
Yes. And I guess this is reflective. I'm sorry for interrupting you, Miss Michelle. I guess this is reflective as well for our practice as teachers in our class. So if we feel valued and if we feel safe to express ourselves, we can convey the same message to our students. They can feel that they're safe themselves to express themselves in class. They can contribute. They can be autonomous learners. They can be, they believe in the growth mindset. So if it's a kind of, I don't want to call this contagious, but it's, let's say, communicative. So if we do all believe, all of us together in this, it's like everyone on board will feel the same energy. So I'm really.
I think it is. I think it is contagious. You know, you go into the classroom positive because you've just had a positive experience with your boss. You're going to relay that in your classroom. So positivity generates positivity.
It
So,
is.
you know, if you have a teacher who hates coming to work and not going to be very good for the students. So
Of course,
I think
of
it all does start at the top.
Of course. Thank you very much for your contribution, Ms.
Oh,
Michelle.
thank you. Thank
So
you. It's
glad.
very enjoyable. Thank you very much. I
Thank
hope
you very
to
much.
meet you someday.
Inshallah, in
Thank you.
any online event until we can make it in person, inshallah. Thank you.
Yes,
Very
inshallah.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Ms. Yousra, here is Mr. Bayan.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? So my name is
Hey,
Yousra.
welcome. Hi, Ms. I think your name is Ms. Yousra,
Yousra,
right?
yes. Thank you.
I'm Bayan. How's it going?
All is well, all is well. It's all fine. And so what do you contribute, let's say, in Blue Ocean? What's your contribution in Blue Ocean? So are you a teacher trainer? So can you tell me
Yeah,
more about your experience?
yes, please. It would be my pleasure. Thank you very much. I'm Bayan, and I'm an English teacher. I've been teaching English for about like now 8 years, and yeah, it's like I started at an early age. It's like,
Great.
teaching the language. I've been familiar with the TESOL thing since 2016. And I tried to develop and work more on my profession so I can just build myself better. And like the whole credit goes to Mr. Safwan because he's the one that brought the TESOL concept to the whole country, not just to Damascus. It's like to many different aspects on the whole thing. Yeah, so it's like we actually witnessed such huge improvement and development over the whole industry of English language teaching.
Right.
So it's like it's not just about working on ourselves to improve and move beyond and like improve our own personal lives regarding like whatsoever. It's like this thing like has affected all of people's lives. So it's like people nowadays are being very much aware of what TESOL is, and they know like that it's a huge valuable thing to our lives. People now get enlightened with the thing of they need to develop themselves, they need to work on themselves. This has helped so many people in the as students or as teachers to improve their lives. It's like they want to build their futures, they want to move on to the next level. Yeah, and I'm very much blessed, to be a blue oceaner. That's number one. Number two is to be an English teacher. Yeah, and of course, like big thank you goes to my teacher, manager, and my inspirational uh, person, who was Mr. Saf. I'm really grateful.
Great to
May I know like little things about you? Can you remind?
Excuse me, could you please repeat?
I was like, yeah. So that's the whole thing about me, And you, Ms. Yusra, is like
Okay,
you're
I'll tell you a little bit about myself. So I'm a TESOL professional as well. My journey started in 2009, and I started teaching at higher education institutions. And I've tried the international experience ever since I got my CELTA
wonderful.
in 2018. And it was with the British Council Tunisia and Laura Woodward. I kind of still remember that person who was just like Mr. Safwan for you. So Laura was kind of my tutor, my CELTA tutor, and the inspirational person. She taught me how to take my lessons to another level. And
Wow.
the CELTA experience in itself is very enlightening. So starting from that moment, I started to work more on myself. You know, I attend every international event here in my country, be it at embassies, foreign embassies, be it at language centers.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
yes, until the TESOL was founded in Tunisia in 2014. So, and I attended the launch meeting, let's say, and I was inspired by the TESOL experience, just like you said. So I started being much more active in teacher associations. It also, I don't know if you can hear me well. It's the
I
corporate.
can loud and clear. Loud and clear. I'm doing well.
So the TESOL experience started here in my country, and then I took it to another level with the TESOL International. So, and then I started to be much more active as a TESOL leader. And now I am beyond like attending the professional learning networks with the TESOL International Association, with Africa ELTA, Nile TESOL. I've been a speaker with one of their SIGs. I am the chair and leader of the Partnership for Sustainable Education in ELT with TEFL Kuwait, yes, and the group like kind of hosts everybody from around the world, including students, parents, teachers, startups, business owners. Everybody is welcome to attend. It's like a regular series of webinars in which I kind of draw a connection between Partnership for Sustainable Education and other kind of SIGs, for example, the use of AI in education, special needs, students with exceptional needs education. What else? There is the blended learning SIG. There is a film-based learning SIG, ELT through films with Mr. Fayaz. So a lot of interesting things happen in the TESOL field, and I'm so glad, like kind of to be active in that and beyond. I started my podcasts too. Now this is the second one. The first one was the Ikigai podcast, and I kind of concluded that to start this one, the KaiZen. And I'm blending the KaiZen with TESOL in coaching and business, let's say edupreneurship. So I hope it was not too much to share with you. I'm sorry.
No, please, like, thank you so much. I'm really like, privileged and honored. Like, so it's like, I got to meet and talk to a wonderful person like you, mashallah. You really inspired me. Like, you pushed me to be like even a better version for like the future.
You are already. You are
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
I will tell you how. You are at your best option ever now. And what I always tell, like we are at our best at a particular moment until we can find better to do better when it comes to personal development and whatever is related to that.
I like that.
Sometimes it's overwhelming, like kind of put pressure on ourselves to reach the best, but we are always already the best version of ourselves. But the thing is that we learn, the Kaizen concept, it's like a Japanese word. It's the combination of two words, which means like positive improvement through regular effort. It's like I do 1% of effort on a regular basis until I can make the 1000% change. It's like it doesn't happen overnight. For example, let's say I'm going to work out on a daily basis to kind of lose weight on, let's say, by the end of the month. So if I don't work out every day, I won't be achieving my target. Sometimes as let's say part of the circumstances we have in our daily life, you can be lazy one day. I don't want to go out to work out today. But if you go out and work for 10 minutes a day and you do whatever it takes to do that every day, you can achieve your target on the long run. So that's the whole kind of concept. And it's valid at the personal level and the business kind of level. So if you set smart goals,
baby steps count.
Yes, you can achieve them, hopefully.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing. It was such honor and privilege to meet you.
Thank you
we
very
hope
much.
to meet you in person very soon.
Yes, soon,
Ms. Yousra,
thank you.
I also want you to meet Mr. Abdullah,
Hello.
our
Hello.
social media
my name is
professional, in addition to Ms. Dala.
Okay, I can allow myself to ask you some questions, Mr.
So you were mentioning the Blue Ocean page,
yes.
the one behind.
Yes. So could you please repeat your name, please? What's your name? Sorry.
Yeah, my name is Abdullah.
Abdullah. Nice to meet you. My name is
Yousra. My name is Abdullah. Yeah. Nice to meet you too. Yeah.
So I was a media and PR manager for a while. I'm fine. So I'll ask you questions related to media and Blue Ocean. So yes, I'm that polyvalent person, So when it comes to media, how can you let's say leverage the social media views and kind of upgrade the visibility of the page and the audience and make it relevant to them? Is there a strategy for that? Don't share too much because that's that's specific to your to your center.
All the time I try to be like more creative, like go outside the box with things like new programs, something like this. I used to do student experience, like based on the student's opinion of it, yeah. And some like do a marketing for courses, like the teacher do the marketing. Use the teacher to do that, to market himself also.
All right. Teacher ambassadors. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it's like win-win business to make it like with the teacher and the center.
Very
both
good.
of them.
Very good.
The flexible way.
That's personal branding, actually. That's personal branding. If everyone will be working on himself, but at the same time for a common goal, it's a win-win situation, just like you said. Great. Kudos for whatever you do.
Yeah.
I liked her page and I'm a follower. So
thank you so
making
much.
Looking
forward to meet you face to face.
Thanks, inshallah. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thanks.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thanks. The pleasure is mine. Thank you. Bye. So bye-bye. Thank you. So Mr. Safwan, are you still here?
That was a tour based on your request.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I really liked the energy of the team and the way really they speak up for real, just like you said, and everything related to Blue Ocean. And that's as vast as the ocean. And I guess that's all about generosity. And now I understand why you've chosen the word ocean. Yes.
I love that. No, because it is all about, you know, sympathy and empathy and authenticity and humanity. This is why it's on top of our values. When we talk about the values of the organization, we put humanity first.
Of course.
And they are not here to be managed after all, especially that I developed my own theory about leadership, which is a combination of Lee from leader and Jur from manager. So I call it leisure. So rather than being a leader or a manager, be a leisure where you can lead others, but you manage yourself.
Of course, of course. Management, it's sometimes, I think it's the first thing that I learned while I started really studying leadership and management and how to discern the difference between the two. Because a lot of people tend to confuse leadership with management. Management is all about, managing time, managing emotions, managing
True, beautiful.
Leadership is more of inspiring and leading, sometimes from behind, leading by example. So we have different types of leadership. Is peer leadership as well as we all mentioned. So I'm so glad that you took me through this journey, Mr. Safwan, and I allowed myself to call you Safwan. You can call me Yousra. I believe in titles, but at the same time, I believe that I don't use a title because I prefer to be called Yousra because that's who I am. And do you have anything to add, Safwan, before we wrap up the podcast?
I would just say that I'm very much glad to have this chit chat or your professional KaiZen podcast. And it's really great when people in the TESOL field from all over the world just like meet up, whether virtually or face to face, where they share things and they contribute more and more to the field. I already can see that in the Toastmasters club with people like Christine Kum or Georgios or Fatma or Nazia, and now here we go. The job is to continue with you. I'm very much intrigued by the amount of knowledge that you have and the contributions also that you've been, doing in the field of TESOL. Great job. We learn from each other.
Thank you very much. And I'll be joining inshallah one of the clubs in the region very soon, and now I'm for the moment a member of Tunisia Toastmasters, and but I'm considering to put more effort because I really know that I did not really contribute very much, but I'll be in the future putting more of time and effort into this, because I do believe in organizational learning, and one of them has been through TESOL International. The Toastmasters is another one, and that's actually how we can grow, how we can upgrade our personal lives and professional lives. And that's it. Thank you very much, Safwan. And I hope to see you soon, inshallah, in TESOL conference, TESOL Arabia. I don't know if there will be an upcoming conference this year, but if not, Tunisia TESOL is holding a conference very, very soon. And you're welcome to apply if you want to attend, and bring all your team here to Tunisia, to this country.
It's our honor.
And do you know we have a lot of Syrian friends here in Tunisia, and I like Syrian food a lot. We haven't talked about this, maybe for another podcast.
Here we go, yeah.
Yes, maybe another time, because I had a lot of friends, you know, international friends, because I've been to international school myself as a student. So that kind of multicultural background, I had it from the beginning.
Great.
So, last but not least, thank you very much, and best wishes. My sincere wishes of success, prosperity to you and your team. And thank you very much, Safwan. I'll let you add any point you want to add.
Once again, it's a real pleasure indeed, and I very much enjoyed the chit chat, and I hope it's going to be beneficial for people and for listeners, and then the people following your beautiful podcast. And looking forward just to meeting you in person and professional TESOL conferences or events.
Inshallah. So to whoever is following us, don't forget to, I'm just going to say that sentence that I refused to say in my Ikigai podcast, which is, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because we want this podcast to reach everybody in the world. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day, Safwan, and see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.